Welcome to this Outtakes Interviews podcast. I'm Lori Baker. This episode is with Matthew Ashford, who currently plays Jack Devereaux on Days of Our Lives. Matthew talks with me about Days and the Daytime Emmy Awards, but in particular we're talking about a project he is currently cast in right now, an indie feature film called The Castle. The Castle currently has a crowdfunding campaign going on at Indiegogo, and I encourage all of Matt's fans, as well as horror film fans, to visit the page and watch the trailer and consider contributing to this movie, which also stars Lou Temple from The Walking Dead. The page link is listed in the description on the Outtakes YouTube and Instagram channels where this interview is posted. The Castle campaign ends on March 12th, so if you want to see this movie make its funding goals, act now. With no further ado, Matthew Ashford, how did you first get involved with The Castle?
Through my friend and business partner, David Ross. David he has been a writer now for many years, and he told me about this project that he got a call about, and he talked to John Patrick Thomasek on the phone, and then he got a chance to see some of the material that John's been working on, and he was very impressed with that and impressed with John generally. And then the idea was interesting. So he said, he'd been working on this. He said, I just wanted you to know about this thing that I've been doing. So he started telling his story. So I'm like, wow, that's a crazy story. And he said, I've been talking to John about you, and said, would you like to be connected with him? So he kind of put us together, and we started talking about it. And, I've done a little bit of horror. Who hasn't? But this idea I found kind of intriguing. So I wanted to see how is this going to come together. So I threw my hat in, and I also knew Lou Temple was a friend of mine. We worked together on some projects in a film. So here we go.
Tell us about the character that you play.
He shows up. He's a guy who's I'm not exactly going to describe him as an international playboy, but maybe in his own mind. But if you imagine these two guys who were young once in Europe, hitchhiking around, and one of them kind of grew up and had to go back to Chicago and become a teacher, become a professor of history, and la-di-da-di. He did all these things. The other one kind of did that, but kind of didn't. He kind of kept traveling and kept doing things and kept picking up odd jobs here and there, and kept building his resume in his mind. And he's always here, he's always there. So they meet in their midlife. They're still these friends, but one is always thinking about what could have been. The other one's always running around saying, well, this is what I'm doing, look who I'm with, look at these beautiful babes, I'm over here, I'm over there, I'm in Russia, I'm over down in North Africa, I'm here, and like he's living the life. It turns out that Lou's character gets this kind of interesting opportunity for this kind of once-in-a-lifetime Airbnb in this castle in Germany. And his wife, she finds a way to make sure that my guy knows about it, and all of a sudden I pop up at the castle just right after they show up there, and they go like, oh wow, this is the best. So suddenly he shows up, but nobody is exactly what they see in this, of course, in this story, and he is neither. So we find out more and more as the story progresses. But then again, the Airbnb, the castle, is not what it seems either. So
the trailer looks very exciting, really creepy. The director, John Thomasek, had mentioned that the castle was a real castle that was in Illinois from the 1920s. Was the trailer actually shot inside the castle?
Yes, we filmed inside the castle. It's about an hour or more, an hour and a half outside of Chicago, and has its own kind of wonderful history. The Chicago Sun-Times, I think that's the name of it, a paper that no longer exists. The man who owned it was a great, he was battling for, justice and the people, and he took on Al Capone, who was really just corruption itself in the 1920s. And Capone didn't like it. He didn't like anyone speaking up to him, talking to him, and he basically threatened him and his family. And this guy, he said, I'm not afraid of you, but at the same time, he moved his family outside of Chicago and built a castle, built his own castle, and to protect him. So, one way or the other, it worked. And this castle, which is just full of lots of interesting nooks and crannies and things that survived all this time, John became aware of it, so he said, well, why don't we use this, because the story has its part of its placement is in the end of World War II. And this castle, which is centuries old, goes back to the 15th century, I believe. And it's kind of storied history, illustrious, glorious, and very dark. So, but most of the story ends up, flashing forward into our time. But in a way, you kind of say like these vibrations, these echoes of the things that have happened in and around this castle just don't go away. They're still there. So we end up dealing with that in one way or the other. Anyway, it was intriguing. I mean, in a way, because I'd never really heard of like a horror movie in the World War II, because World War II was a horror. And I think that's one reason why, it's generally not set like that. But because of that, the story kind of stands alone.
I think having the story set in World War II is definitely a cool twist. So just for fun, what are your favorite horror films?
I mean, it goes from The Others, which was Nicole Kidman, produced by her then husband. It's just an amazing, spooky, moody movie. It's about 10 years old, 12 years old now, but it's really wonderful. It takes place in kind of like a castle, actually, and you just not quite sure what is there. Cape Fear is is that a horror movie? I don't know. It's very suspenseful. But Night of the Hunter is another one. I mean, are they horror movies? There's something horrible in them, but they're full of people. I like a lighter touch. I don't necessarily need all the blood and gore. I think that's something in the last 20, 25 years. But even the first Freddy Krueger Nightmare on Elm Street was very, very spooky in a way. It ended up having some other stuff, but it was very evocative in that way. And of course, Halloween. Those are the movies that happened in my young days.
Those are all good choices. So you said you're friends with Lou Temple. How was it working with him as an actor?
I didn't know that Lou's been working about as long as I have. We're about roughly the same age. But he's worked so much in film, and there's been lots of films, working with a lot of A-list stars, and then had his own TV series, The Walking Dead, and just done a lot of westerns. And he's just he's a very wise man, very funny. We connected on this film, and he's really immediate, and he's very funny. He's ready to play anything, whatever you need. Anyway, I'm very excited to work with him because he's a very honest, truthful actor, and very he wants to bring the best, and it's the kind of person you want to work with.
I've seen on Facebook occasionally David Michael Ross, who helped John co-write the script and helped get everyone together for this film. I've seen that you also work with him on Tranquil Bay Entertainment. Tell us a little bit about what your role is with that.
In Tranquil Bay, we're kind of co-producers on that. We've just been working on projects over the years, some of which one of them was produced in a horror movie years ago, and then another movie that we're still tinkering with, and then a whole number of scripts. So it's been a wonderful outlet in times when I'm working on days or not working so much, and a chance to do something, make something happen. Just
mentioning your other projects that you've been doing, I just wanted to have a chance to say congratulations on your Indie Series Award nomination for They.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah, did you have any part in submitting material for that?
No, I believe they submitted it. I had no part in that. And if it happened, it happened.
Well,
I'm also going to be having. I'll just heads up. I'm going to be doing. I have a part on coming up on NCIS airing on St. Patrick's Day.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, also talking awards, I wanted to ask, did you submit for any of your day's work for the Daytime Emmys?
Yes, I did submit some scenes with Cassie DePaiva and scenes with Missy Reeves.
Oh, it's a little bit of both. Would you mind telling us some of the story that you submitted?
Well, because they were kind of tied together. It was one great big storyline that Ron wrote. Jack struggling, fighting with Eve to find out if she was truly on his side, trying to help him either get his memory back, not get his memory back, what is going on here. And then with Jennifer, kind of getting his memory back. And then it has, nothing is easy about that either. I mean, there was so much to choose from, but I tried to, keep it as tight and simple as possible. So hopefully there's a good response to it. But there's a lot of great people out there. So, I'm one of many, and there's a lot of good actors. So.
Yeah, well, fans were so happy that, Jack Devereaux survived that fall in the elevator and managed to come back after all these years. And, it was just a party all through last year for Jack Devereaux fans. What was your favorite part of the return for you, like as part of Jack's story, as maybe as an actor?
Getting a chance to meet this family, Kate's character, Casey Moss, Missy, meet people and meet them for the first time and have no preconceived notion. I'm like, well, and be able to say, well, who are you? And even like Mary Beth. I mean, overall, through the whole thing, I got, it wasn't always pleasant, but it wasn't so bad either. And even as an actor, I was able to say, well, who are you? Like with Mary Beth's character, says, so what? Well, we were married once? Oh, that's cool. What's that? What was that all about? And it was able to kind of really dig back down again and kind of just look at that person fresh. So that I enjoyed that.
Wonderful. Well, aside from NCIS, are there any other projects coming up for you that you can tell us about?
Not exactly, but going back into Days Tomorrow happily, and we got more hijinks going on there.
Oh, wonderful. That's great to hear. Just a little question I like to ask all the actors that I admire that I interview. What advice do you have for someone who wants to be involved in the entertainment industry, whether it's acting or producing or directing?
Well, I suppose follow your passion is a pretty good one. If you're doing it for the money, you might not see much. I'd say really follow your passion and be good to people. Try to bring your best and demand that from everybody else. Good friends and good coworkers will end up appreciating you for you if they know that, like Mark Harmon over on NTS, they're in year 17. The guy is the first one there, last to leave. He's very low-key. He does his work, and he expects that of everyone else. And he sets the tone. He's a leading man, and that's kind of a cool thing. You sort of realize we can all lead. I could be leading men and leading women in our lives, whatever we do, and the way we treat people, whether you're producing behind the scenes, anything. You treat people square, people will remember it. They'll remember how they feel when they're with you. And not, there's no hay to be made, like, using people and just, tossing them. Whatever you're working on, it's just about people. There's no, this is going to make me, I mean, I know some actors who receive big awards and they turn around, they kind of go, thank you all. I know I stepped on everybody to get here and, well, no hard feelings and, crickets. So, what does it matter? You're going to get out that, but you lose, your heart or the heart of everybody around you. So that's my feelings. It's like every other workplace, follow your passion, but be good to the people around you.
Well, thanks so much, Matthew. Everybody check out Matt's movie, The Castle, on Indiegogo. Let's make this movie happen. It looks fabulous.
Check out The Castle, and I think it's going to be a very interesting project. I haven't encountered anything like it.
Wonderful. I'm really hoping that we see the movie, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you and Lou Temple and the Nazis and the ghosts and everything. It looks like a great movie.
Lion and Tigers and Bears, too.
Yeah.